Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the marriage thing, but I am a huge fan of gingers.
I like a ginger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love a good ginger. You know, I used to have, you know, well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name's Posh Josh, and the reason why I'm called Posh Josh is because I used to be very posh. I used to be a very posh boys when I was at school. I was sort of like the youngest kid on the bus, and all the teenage kids used to call me Posh Josh because I was used to be with this very posh boys. But do you know what a disabled person's idea of full-time employment is?
2 hours a week.
Stand-up comedy. And do you know what a disabled person, a person in a wheelchair, fears the most? They fear 3 things. Stairs, a standing frame, and anal sex. It's a killer on the knees. I knew people would get that one, but yeah, I'm actually quite a very interesting person actually, because I used to have a very interesting career before I started stand-up comedy. I used to be a prostitute. Yeah, I'm a very classy guy, aren't I? Yeah, I used to be a prostitute. That's actually how I found out about stand-up comedy. Nikolai was one of the clients.
Oh!
And you know...
He needs some milk!
And you know... Okay, there's 2 voices going on. There's my voice and there's someone else's voice.
I was trying impersonations, I'm sorry.
It's either I've got, schizophrenia or I have my own version of Venom somewhere. It's one of the two. But yes, I used to be a prostitute, and that's how I found out about the stand-up. And I know what you guys are probably thinking. Josh, you must be the luckiest guy in the world, because you get to go everywhere. You get to go to the shops. You get to get in front of the queue at Sainsbury's. You get to, do all sorts of stuff. You get to be in, halfway to heaven. It's an S&M club in Soho. And trust me, it's great there. Like, they give you blowjobs for free. It's absolutely amazing. And if you're a part of a stag do or a hen night, it's 50% off. It's really wonderful. It's a fantastic place. And it's all really wonderful. And do you guys know about anything in the news? There was a tragic death on the news recently of Liam Payne. And it was really sad. He was 31, and all I kept on thinking when I masturbated that night was how much I cried. Like, honestly, I cried so much. I cried through my cock and I cried through my eyes. It's kind of like when I watched the WWE. It's but most people would cry at, the very emotional storylines. I'd be jizzing myself all day and it'll be like, oh yeah, that's great. And then I watch something like Iron Claw, and I'm literally crying with my eyes. My cock is completely dry. And I literally couldn't believe it. It's absolutely horrible, and I hate it when I just cry, because I don't know about you, but I just really hate, weepies where it's really all to do with father and son. I absolutely hate those. I mean, honestly, sit me in front of a film with a father and son relationship, and that film Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone with the arm wrestling, that's probably one of the saddest films for me. But I absolutely hate it. But and I'm in a wheelchair, obviously, and I'm gay. And what I like to do when I go out sometimes is I like to go with my friend Bradley. He's in the audience. Yeah. Hi, Bradley. And just so you know, we're not a couple. We're actually very good friends. But yeah, we go to the cinema a lot, and one time we went out to the cinema to go and see a film called Blink Twice, and it's a thriller. And while I was sitting in the audience, I had the worst case of ASS, which is, for those of you who don't know, ASS stands for arse sleepers syndrome. So you could be sitting in your seat, in your wheelchair, and then you'll have an incredible urge to just sit up and you know, you're in excruciating pain. Honestly, is anyone a fan of the Marvels in this audience? Boy, are you in the wrong place if you're a fan. Because honestly, whenever I lift myself up like this, it feels like you are being fisted by the Winter Soldier. It feels absolute agony. It is the worst. It is the worst of the worst. And honestly, it's probably the most pleasurable thing I have ever experienced in my entire life as well. It's absolutely dreadful. Oh yeah, I hope you guys are having a good night. And for those of you who don't know, I'm from Croydon as well.
Sorry.
Honestly, you guys should replace me up here because you guys are doing better jokes than I am, honestly. And honestly, yeah, it's absolutely, you know, bonkers. And honestly, it's one of those places where if you ask, is anyone sitting here, that's the closest thing you'll get to fuck off when you say that than anything else. Like, honestly, you don't even have to insult people in Croydon. They can just simply get angry at you just for asking, how are you today? They'll say stuff like, your mum, or fuck off. Shove it up your ass, you bastard, or something like that. It really is the most horrific thing, but I absolutely, it's wonderful. Oh, I'm being flashed. That's not the first time I've been flashed. Yeah, but yeah, I hope you guys are having a good life, and first of all, for the guy who flashed me, please buy me dinner first. It's very rude to expose yourself in public, especially with a disabled person in the audience as well. You know how ableist that is? Like, that's really terrible. So yeah, I'm going to be leaving now, and I hope you guys have a really wonderful evening. Don't drink too much. I hope you guys have a very good time.